welcome to another side quest episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm one of your hosts, Madelyn.
I'm your other host, Emma.
And we're here to talk to you on this bonus mini episode about what we've been playing. It's not really a bonus episode anymore, right? Like, we do them every week.
Mm-hmm. Just mini episodes.
On this mini episode about what we've been playing for these past 2 weeks and our thoughts about that and any gaming-related news we have from our lives the past 2 weeks. So, Emma, we'll start with you. What have you been playing?
Well, I just recently picked up my lunatic casual game of Fire Emblem Birthright to play on the Metro. Which is going well, ish. It's honestly, it's not, I feel like I've over-leveled my units at this point, so it's mostly just a lot of, waiting for the enemies to die. Although they still do a lot of damage, I don't get any experience points from killing them, because they're all, level 12 upgraded units.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
You know. Yeah. I mean, it's still challenging. Birthright, and I don't have the energy in the morning to try anything with Conquest, which is actually hard. Birthright is not hard. But mostly I've been continuing to play Iconoclasts on PlayStation 4. I had a whole saga where I really thought either I had missed something, it was either 20% sure that I had missed something and I hadn't activated something, or 80% sure that it was a glitch, because there's this elevator, and I unlocked the door to the elevator, but then I got in the elevator and it didn't do anything. And to be fair, I'd been playing for about 3 hours at that point, so my brain was a little bit gone.
A little fried.
But I couldn't figure it out. I really thought my game was broken. I reloaded an old save. I went back through everywhere I could go, making sure I hadn't missed anything. And then I was like, I give up. So I went onto Reddit and YouTube and Twitter and was like, can anybody tell me how to make this freaking elevator work, or if it's broken? And somebody very sweet on Reddit, which is an amazing thing to say.
Yeah, that's kind of an incredible thing to find someone sweet
just said,
on Reddit.
I'm sorry if this sounds like kind of a stupid question, but did you try pressing the up button? And I thought, no, I did not try pressing the up button to go up in the elevator. But in my defense, usually there's a giant, huge up arrow whenever there's a button prompt in this game. Like when you're picking up boxes, there'll be a big arrow that appears over Robin's head. So it just didn't occur to me that there would be a button prompt there, because there was no indicator telling me what to do.
Yeah, make all the excuses you want, Emma.
Yeah. So I turned it back on, and I went up in that elevator, and then proceeded to get stuck again for about another half hour. Because I didn't know what to do.
Oof.
This is a game that I'm enjoying. I am enjoying it. And, I really want to say that I love it. But I don't. I don't love it. And I really like it, but I can't put my finger necessarily on, why I don't love it. I think it's, it might have some tone problems, maybe? I think that might be what's bugging me. Is it just switches back and forth too fast without letting me process anything. The last time I played, something super crazy and awful happened, and then I was sort of just immediately dropped into this area and had to do platforming puzzles again. I was like, can I take some time to process that? I don't know.
Nope.
No time to process that. Just continue making your way through this dark dungeon. So I think maybe that's what's not clicking with me 100%. I wasn't expecting going in that it would be kind of this dark. I wasn't expecting it to be super happy-go-lucky. But just, it looks so... The pixel style is so fun, and the music's so upbeat and everything. and then it just sort of has descended into pure and utter horrible chaos. But still, like, maybe the story and gameplay don't entirely fit. Maybe that's my problem.
Well, you are our resident expert on gameplay and storytelling.
Oh, thank you.
So that would make sense.
Yeah. It's just like, it's a weird feeling, because usually I get with games, I'm like, this sucks, but I love it anyway. You know, that's the feeling I'm more, the negative yet positive feeling that I'm more used to having. Not like, I feel like I should love this, but I just can't quite do it.
Well, that's probably a healthier attitude to have. You know, video games
The first one?
think are one. Yeah. Wait. Yes. Because I was trying to remember which one was first and which one was second, and I couldn't for a minute, but now I do. Because, so, like, I know this happens to me all the time with, like, movies or with books or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is critically acclaimed. Like, I should probably love this. Or, oh, this is a classic. Like, it has to be good. But I feel like in video games, at least mostly, we don't have too much of that yet. I mean, certainly you're comfortable enough, like, hating, or not even hating, right? Like, being disinterested in Breath of the Wild, despite critical consensus to the contrary. And I don't know if that's part of its development as an art form that gains respect, that we're going to start having to pretend we like video games that we don't.
Well, I think it is, like, if you're not, we're not, like, video game critics or whatever, you know, where we're, like, talking about, like, best picture or looking through games and picking the best of that year or whatever. So, like, my disinterest in Breath of the Wild is more like someone who really likes movies and is interested in movies, but like us, we can't really do horror, right? So even if there's a horror movie that everybody agrees is incredible and, you know, a pinnacle part of film history, like, I'm not gonna go see that because I don't like horror movies.
But I feel like this goes a step beyond that. Like, even though I'm not a film critic per se, or I'm not a literary critic, there are still movies I feel like compelled to like, or at least compelled to have an opinion on. If I'm not going to like them, I'm, like, taking a stance against the man, right? Like, my refusal to think that The Shape of Water is better than, like, it was pretty good, I guess, feels like I'm taking a stand, right?
Sure.
Well, I don't know. That's how I view it anyway, so fine. Psychoanalyze me. But in video games, when I don't like a video game, I don't feel like that is acclaimed. I don't feel like I'm taking a stand against the man. I just feel like I don't like the game, which is nice to not have that pressure.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are still definitely some games that are like that. The Half-Life series, for instance, The Last of Us. If I really thought about it, I could probably come up with some more. I mean, just your opinion on Nintendo is kind of just a stance, I would say, like Nintendo as a whole. So I think there's still some of that. And there's definitely elitism, I think, in the, like, it's like, oh, you play little things on your phone, you don't play games, or whatever, or, like, that's not a game, like, I guess that's a separate problem, but there's definitely still elite people who, like, are like, this is what you should aspire to be like.
Oh, for sure, I absolutely agree with that. I just feel like in books and in movies, and, you know, not enough people go to the theater, but in theater a little bit, there's shows that it's like, you have to like this. So there's movies, there's television. It gets like a prestige factor. And while I agree that there definitely are games that have some of that, I just don't think it's as strong. I think that, I mean, and maybe it's just because it's easier to avoid discussion of video games in popular discourse, right? Like, I can't really avoid Oscar buzz. So perhaps it's just that.
Yeah. I mean, if for anything, like, just don't wade into the YouTube comments is the my modus
Fundamental
operandi.
rule.
Or if I'm going to wade into the YouTube comments, make sure I'm in the right frame of mind to be like, these people are crazy, as opposed to being offended by it.
I agree.
Okay, whatever. I recommend Iconoclast. It's a great game. It was made by only one guy, so, support him and what he's done with his life. Anyway, Madelyn, what have you been playing this week?
Why, Emma, I thought you'd never ask. I have not been gaming too much these past couple weeks. It's been a busy time again, and as I feel like I've discussed on the podcast previously, I'm still struggling to give myself time to play video games, because I feel like I have to spend a significant amount of time, and I just feel like I never have that amount of time, and I also feel kind of guilty when I'm playing video games, even though there's still work to be done. So if you have tips for absolving yourself of the desire to work and instead just playing video games all the time, hit me up, because I would love to just game all the time instead. But what I have been playing, I played a little bit more of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I don't have that much more interesting to say about it, except I did find Stitch cute just for like half a second.
Oh my god, you found... Okay. Can we just say that we went to Disney World when we were younger, and I at least was super traumatized by the Stitch ride there. So I'm aware that people love Lilo and Stitch. I don't think I've ever seen the movie. I just know Stitch from that one ride where they, like, spewed farts all over. And
I forgot about that!
I almost vomited, and we had to leave.
I think there are two Stitch rides, because I was thinking of the one where it's, like, you have, like, the ray gun.
I don't know that one. I just remember the traumatizing one. It's not even really a ride. It's like an experience or something.
Sensory experience.
Experience this really awful fart smell, because that seems
I forgot about that. I was like, what was that traumatic about, like, the Stitch Adventure one? Like, I don't know. Like, nothing. It's just like, you're just, like, getting aliens. I forgot about the sensory experience.
Yeah. It was really awful.
In case you forgot, the name's Ventus, but you can call me Ven.
Call me Ven.
Josh is always very confused when I'm playing this game. He's like, that's Rox. I mean, I don't really play it in front of him, but whenever he, like, comes home and I haven't saved, he's like, that's Roxas. And I'm like, no.
No,
he's
it's
like,
not
no,
Roxas.
And I'm like, no, it's not.
Roxas.
But yeah, I don't have that much updates from that. I did win a game on the command board, finally.
Wow, what an accomplishment.
It was huge. It leveled up my skills a lot, so whatever. Let's see. What else have I been playing? Played a little bit of Katamari, because we had a guest. That's part of the reason, really, why I didn't play too many video games here this week, because we had a guest from Tuesday to Sunday. So, small apartment, not too much video gaming. She had played Katamari before.
Wow.
I am always surprised, especially with games like I realize that Katamari is a very popular game, but it just doesn't feel like it should be, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really identify it as such. I think of it as like no one will ever have heard of this game.
Yeah.
But even on a macro level, like beyond stuff like Halo or Call of Duty or Pokemon, right? Which I kind of assume that, even though I'm not sure have I ever played one of those two, Halo or Call of Duty. I'm not fully sure I've ever played.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
I think I have played some Call of Duty, but I don't think I've ever played Halo. But whatever. The point being, except for those, like, whatever, dozen games that I kind of assume that everybody played sometime between kind of like age 5 and age 15, I generally assume that people don't play video games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm perpetually surprised whenever I encounter someone that does, and even more so, like, knows of a game. No, but seriously, though, like, I realize that there are a lot of people that play games.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't mean, like, someone who's like, oh, yeah, like, I play Tetris on my iPhone. Like, of course, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, I guess I'm surprised that it's Tetris and not whatever the cool mobile game of the moment is, but whatever. And it's always a pleasant surprise. It's like, oh, like, you play video games too. Like, weird. We're weird little aliens together. And again, I get that this is totally irrational. People play games. Games sell millions of copies. People have games. It always surprises me. Anyway, Katamari continues to be, distracting and fun as heck. I wish they'd make a new one. I don't really have that much more interesting. I've talked about Katamari, I feel like, on these so many times. So I'll spare you.
Well, update me on the adventures of Champ McDude, please. That's what I'm here for.
Right. So for those who have not been following the podcast, The Adventures of Champ McDude, although, like, what have you been doing not following the podcast? Welcome, I guess is what I mean to say. So Champ McDude is the name of my character in my playthrough of Persona 5, Champ McDude. I was very disappointed that in my whole, 2 hours playing yesterday, not once did anyone refer to me as Champ.
Wow.
Not
Rude.
Once did they refer to me by name. So what a load of hooey. But yeah, we didn't vanquish. We got away, from our castle thing. Again. Yeah.
Is that like the tutorial?
The other, Ryuji also ripped his face off.
Yeah! He ripped his face off.
So that's where we're at. Something that Persona, and I was thinking about this because in our last full episode, which if you haven't listened to, if you haven't downloaded yet, I highly recommend that you do. It's a good one. In our last full episode, we discussed, oh boy, I'm going to mess up the name, Planescape Torment, which was sort of an RPG that really deepened the morality mechanic for the first time, right? You could really genuinely play as an evil guy and still play the game, which is all well and good for all the games that have followed where you can play as an evil guy or as a good guy, but I do not have that capability. I am unable to be mean to these people. I wanted to tell Ryuji that his new outfit made him look like a thug, but I wanted to say it in oh yeah, dude, you look like a thug, and I was afraid that he would not take it well.
I'm pretty sure he does take it well, because I think I said that. But, yeah, it can be hard, especially in these games when although Persona at least does a good job of, literally saying what the person's going to say instead of, a summary of what they're going to say.
Right?
So it's still sometimes hard to read how you're going to say it. But he usually says it like a big troll is sort of my impression of the character. It's like being purposely mean or obtuse. So just, you can bear that in mind and be like, that's probably how he'll say it. Because there's some great one-liners in that game. Don't let them slip by.
I feel like we took a photo, Josh took a photo of something because he was like, this is me, but I can't remember what the quote was. Because it was something that Ryuji said, and Ryuji is also kind of like that blonde, weird-looking dude. And so it was it'll be funny. I guess I'll post it on Instagram if he'll send me the photo.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. But yeah, again, no one has called me Champ, so what was even the point of naming myself Champ?
Don't worry, people will call you Champ.
Okay, well, it better be coming soon, because I'm not getting my money's worth.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm not sure how good I am at the fighting yet. I guess I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm frustrated by the fact that whenever I go up to my room for the night, I seem to have to stay in my room and go to bed, and I can't clean my room.
You'll get to that eventually.
It's really been bothering me that I can't clean my room. Because
well, that's because every day you go into the little realm, which makes you tired.
Yeah.
Just good for future reference.
Would still clean his room. Champ McDude who can't say, doesn't have a mean bone in his body because he just can't.
It's okay.
He's afraid someone won't like him.
Just go to sleep. You're tired. Shh.
I know.
We have a big day tomorrow. Shh. Shh. It's okay.
Also, you're right that this game makes me feel really good and popular, and I have a theory about that in a minute. Because,
Okay.
he's just, texting me. My best bud for Yuji is just, texting me, and it's, wants to go get food.
Yeah.
And it's, nobody ever texts me or wants to go get food.
I also really appreciate that they'll send you, 3 paragraphs, and then you can reply. You'll just reply with, got it.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could use more exclamation points. I'm very careful in my texting and email correspondence to try to throw in some exclamation points so people don't think I'm mad. And Champ likes to end his texts. He doesn't even just not use punctuation. That's fine.
Ends with a period.
Yeah. It's this is a little passive aggressive. You're sounds good, period. And when I text sounds good, period, I'm angry. I'm yeah, okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
But anyway, my theory is, so what are these projections of people's inner lives in Persona called again?
It depends on which game you're playing.
Okay, it's the castle. What is the castle? There's a word for it. I can't
palaces remember. In Persona 5.
Palaces. Great. I'm convinced that the whole conceit of Persona is based on the palace of what you wish your high school experience was like. It's you go into this other alternate dimension of what you thought of the way you think of yourself, which is everybody wants to be your friend. You're back in high school, your entire life's ahead of you. You're super powered. You can rip your face off. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think, as they've gone on, I think they've realized that is something that people really enjoy about it. The sort of wish
ripping your face off?
Yeah, ripping your face off. They've seen, people really love it. It's actually a step down from Persona 3 where you just shoot yourself in the head. Persona 4, they just have cards that they, shatter. It's very, very underwhelming once you've played Persona 5 and Persona 3. It's where's the guns that you shoot yourself in the heads with? Why haven't you ripped your face off yet? But I think from the beginning of Persona to Persona 5, you can see how they've structured stories that are becoming more and more escapist, I guess, which isn't to say that they're bad stories or that they don't have difficult moments or that they don't try to hit on themes, but it is a form of fantasy for a player to feel powerful in a high school experience, even as an adult, especially if we weren't unpopular in high school, but we weren't Phantom Thieves either,
I identify as more than unpopular, more than not popular.
Yeah.
I was liked.
I didn't. Yeah, but you weren't.
I'm engaging in some wish fulfillment now. I'm maybe I was a Phantom Thief. Wow. Oh my gosh. Queenie.
There is. There's one guy that you can talk to some of the little students in the school and the people around town sometimes. And later on in the game, there's just one guy in the school that I happened on randomly who was yes, I am a Phantom Thief. You can't tell anyone my true identity. I was who is this person and why are they me? Yeah. So there's fun stuff like that.
Well, I look forward to finding all that fun stuff. And never saying a mean word to anybody. And also getting all the questions right. Hopefully they're all about philosophy and Josh can just answer them for
he
me.
looks like a thug, but maybe he actually studies.
That is pretty much what they said.
Yeah.
They got the question right.
Yeah.
Which is true of me in real life, too. That's really what they're oh man, Madelyn looks like a thug.
Madelyn does look like a thug. Your outfit really makes you look like a thug, Madelyn.
I am wearing the denim jumpsuit, so...
Oh, man. How thuggish.
It seems like a prison uniform. I don't know. You know what? Here's the thug secret of the day. Guess what, people? I went for a run this morning. I came home. My water was not working. So guess what? Well, my hot water wasn't working, and the shower wasn't working at all. So guess what? I went to work today, and I didn't shower. So don't tell me I'm not a thug.
That's not a thug. That's just bad personal hygiene.
Well, that's a requisite quality of being a thug. So on that smelly note, smell you later, folks. This has been another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your stinky host, Champ McDude.
I'm your other host, Emma.
And if you liked what you heard today, minus my confession that I really didn't smell. Okay, I promise.
Okay,
but minus my sweaty confession there. You should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, all at Talk This Podcast. And if you really love content, which who doesn't love content, you should also subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can find us as Talk This Sisters. We're rapidly closing in on the next entry. I guess not really. It's like 3 weeks away, right?
I guess it's more like 2 weeks. 3rd Thursday of March.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, but I had to record footage for Danganronpa V3, which is the game I'm doing next. So I did half of the chapter that I needed. And then I'll do the other half eventually.
So to clarify what Emma's talking about, for those of you who are not lucky enough to have subscribed yet, Emma does a monthly video blog series about how gameplay affects storytelling in video games. So you should check out her first installment on the tutorial of Kingdom Hearts, as well as her upcoming installment in a couple weeks on Danganronpa
V3. Specifically Chapter 4.
Also, you should check out our website. I've got great blog content. I've got some stuff that's in the works, which may or may not be up there by the time this episode comes out. But some good blog posts, probably some continuation of Clickbait Boyfriend, as well as a few other excellent stuff, so keep following the page. And there you can also find all of our episodes. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, we're on not SoundCloud, we're on
Google Play,
we're on TuneIn. I always forget TuneIn. I got it this time. So basically you have no excuse not to listen to the podcast, because we're everywhere, folks. Also tell your friends. We love new listeners.
Yep.
And have them subscribe, write comments, give us a review. Just generally tell us your thoughts about video games, because if there's anything I'm taking away from these last 2 weeks, it's that I love unexpected interactions with people that I don't expect to play video games. I think I got it all.
Yep, you sure did.
So, on that note, have a Champ McDudely week.